Hi, in this video we're going to cover how to assemble and lodge your ST report with the ATO for a complex employer. We covered how to do the setup for a complex employer in a previous video, and now we're going to cover how to use it. As mentioned on our website, all lodgements are made through singletouch.com.au, who are an STP sending service provider. So you need to first register with them. For the purpose of this video, we will assume you've already done that. We'll start by showing the processing of the payroll in MYOB. So click Process Payroll, and on this next screen we need to enter the dates of our payment. The payroll that we want to record is for the week commencing the 18th of March until the 24th of March, and the payday is going to be the 25th of March. Right. Now make a note of these dates because we'll need them later on when doing the single touch. So let's click Next, and because we've already checked these payments, we won't go through each one, but just make a note of that net amount, 552640. Click Record, click Continue, and again 552640. Just make a note of that. So do whatever else you need to do, print paychecks, etc. Make the payment through the bank, and once you're finished, close MYOB, but for the purpose of this video we'll just close it now. After we finish running our payroll, we need to run STP Creator, and which we've already opened, and now we need to select our permanent dataset file. So last time we created one, this time we want to just browse and select the one we've created, the complex data set file for this MYO company file. And we need to select the username and enter the password. On this screen you can see that the company details have been pre-filled from the previous dataset file that we've created. The question marks here because we haven't loaded the current MYOB data for this session. So that's probably the first thing we need to do. Click on this. That'll load the data, and now it's populated these fields. So we're not making any changes to the fields, payroll categories or payees, so we don't need to go in this area again. We just click Save and Close, and we go back to this main screen. So the first thing we need to do is assemble year-to-date data. So we click this button, and this shows us the year-to-date data. This is coming from the payroll history for every payroll category for every employee. So we can sort them by the names of the payees, and that shows you all of the amounts for that particular payee, the year-to-date totals. Now, for example, if we select one of them and click Edit, this bottom screen shows us for everything for John Smith, WHM, who's a working holiday maker, and as you can see here, if we change these fields, that the year-to-date is 0 for base hourly, because it's all been shifted to base hourly working holiday maker. However, the working withholding is still showing as PAYG withholding, even though we know that's mapped to working holiday maker PAYG. So this is the data that's going to be sent to the ATO. We're yet to put all the totals together. We'll do that on another step. So what we can do here, we didn't get any alerts indicating that something hasn't been mapped. So we just give it a quick scan and click Save. Okay. The next thing to do is assemble the W1 and W2 data. So we click here. This brings up the dates. So what we need to do is select here the date the payment was made, and that was on the 25th of March for payroll that commenced on the 18th of March to the 24th. Is that right? Yeah, so we use the dates that we entered in MYOB and made a note of. So the payments for that week, payment on that date, click this button, and that then gives us the W1, W2 amounts for this pay period. Now we're reporting for this week, and that would be the amounts. Now notice the net here is 56 3440. In the MYOB company file, when we did the pay net was 552640, a difference of 108, and the reason for that would be for things like the union fees or any other deductions that are not being reported for W1, W2. So you'll find that there's union fees here, workplace giving, and there's two amounts for not reportable employer additional here, and there's another employee additional amount there. There's 250. So that's the reason for the discrepancy between the net here and the net in MYOB. Once you can explain that discrepancy, and you've done it once or twice, you just give these figures a quick scan and you're good to go. If there's any concerns or you can't reconcile the figures, what you can do is click this copy button, paste the data in Excel, do some sorting, and then compare that with your pay slips and try and work out what the reason for the discrepancy is. There might be a setting that's incorrect, and there might be something that's been excluded, or there might be just something that another reason for the discrepancy. So once you've scanned the figures, they're satisfied that it's the correct amount, you just click on Save, and next we're ready to click on Assemble Lodgement Data. So we click this button, and that brings up a table showing initially only the fields that we've selected. So here you can see the ABN for voluntary agreement. If you scroll across here, you'll see the dates, and you see the gross pay for all the employees. You'll also see that for this particular, for Mary, we're reporting RESC, and it's showing it here. For Peter, we're not reporting RESC. We're going to do that at the end of the year. It's showing a 0. We've also got Working Holiday Maker, both the gross and the PAYG. We've got Working Holiday Maker, gross and PAYG. We've got car allowances for those 3 individuals. I just want to show you this other allowance description. Remember, other allowance is set to uniform, but for this particular employee, we needed to use that allowance 1 as overseas accommodation, and so you can see it's going to send that data to the ATO rather than saying it's for a uniform. Now you can disregard all these other bits where it's got telephone, etc., because whenever there's 0, nothing gets sent to the ATO. Only this one, where it's got 254, will get sent to the ATO. Telephone to 254, sorry. So again, have a quick look at those figures. If you want to, for whatever reason, you click on this button, it'll show you all of the fields that are actually going to the ATO, including all the blank ones. But it's probably easy for most to not do that and just show these fields that we're actually using. While on this screen, I just point out some other features. This button here is for updates, so when you're reporting an update, you don't send W1, W2 data, so that'll get cleared from here. This one's full file replacement, so if you've lodged a file successfully, it's been accepted by the ATO, but you realise you made a mistake and you want to change it, you can replace a previous lodgement in its entirety. Usually unnecessary, because every time you do a report, you're sending year-to-date data. So basically, if you make a mistake this time, next time you can correct it by sending the correct figures. It'll replace all previous year-to-date data for each payee. This button is for TFN declaration, so if you've got an employee who started, has provided TFN declaration, you can select that employee, click TFN declaration, fill in the details, and then that will be sent off to the ATO with your STP report. And this is the final indicator. So at the end of the year, when you're finalising, once you've made your final payments, you've checked all your figures, you know everything's good, you select the payees, click final indicator, and that'll tell the ATO that these are now the final payment summary amounts for the year for this person. We're not doing any of those at this point. We just want to send this week's data. So we just click on Lodge. You'll notice your name is pre-filled here. You click on I declare, you read the declaration of course, and then click Sign In. This brings a pop-up that allows you to sign in, and you need to sign in with the account details that you received from singletouchpayroll.com.au. So the first stage is signing in, so that checks your password and it allocates a token. If you get this screen, it's telling you that STP Creator is waiting for a response from that other pop-up, so just click retry and it'll tell you that successfully signed in, and there's some token details down here which you can essentially ignore. Once we've signed in, we click send, and then we'll get a message, a response here saying there, success, code, pay event has been submitted. You'll be notified by email if they accepted it or not. But that's it here. If there's a complicated message there, you can click copy, paste it into a notepad or Word document and check it out or send it to us if you can't sort out what the problem is. But we're finished here now, so we can sign out. You don't have to, but we can sign out and then close. That brings us back to this screen, which we can close. But before we do, it's a good idea to click this box here, save image. This will save a read-only image using the pay event ID, which is the ID the ATO will use in their emails and communications for this particular lodgement. But what that does is it saves a read-only copy, and it's probably a good idea to do that at least the first few times while you're getting used to it. And always open that file and see exactly what was submitted, and if there's a particular discrepancy or an error, that can help pinpoint why the incorrect data was sent. Anyhow, once we've done that, we click close and close, and that's it. Thanks.